Well, I'm not going to pretend like I really care about these folks because they did do a lot of divisiveness and there was a lot of stuff that they did that I don't necessarily agree with. But we're going to get into the story as well as several other stories that we're going to talk about this evening. But yeah, they're back at it. They don't get along anymore, it appears. All of the infighting that goes on with this group. But I think it's sort of weird because we know so much about them, and being that we know a lot about them, okay? Oh, take it up some? Okay. Um, being that we do know, thank you, brother. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Hey, let me get the audio up. Bump it up 5, my brother says. Get a little closer. Okay. I don't know why this thing keeps changing on me. Is that good? Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Okay. So, this whole group seems to always be ensnared in something. And whenever I start to read some of these stories, it just gets me a little curious. I get a little curious because I'm like, but wait a minute, aren't they like all buddies now? Anyway, let me just pull up one of the stories so that you can see it. I'm going to give you guys the entire screen like I normally do. Thank you, Sister Marty, and thank you for checking on me. Here we go. There's 2 stories here, but I'm going to use this one because it looks a little better. Okay. So now here's the deal. Now, it goes on to say that a prominent leader, make sure you guys have the whole screen. Let me make sure. Let me give it all to you there. Okay. So now a prominent leader within Black Lives Matter is being accused of stealing more than $10 million. Boy, I tell you, the infighting just never ends. There's just always something amazing going on. So, a prominent leader in the Black Lives Matter movement has been accused of stealing more than $10 million from the group in an explosive lawsuit filed by other organizers within the movement. The gentleman's name that's being accused of this is Shalomaya Bowers, a board member of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. That would be the BLMGNF. He was accused, I should say, of stealing the group of using the group as a personal piggy bank in a lawsuit that was filed in Los Angeles, California on Thursday. The lawsuit filed by Black Lives Matter Grassroots. Okay, so there's another arm. I think that's what was confusing to me a few seconds ago, but there's another arm. And there's the Black Lives Matter Grassroots offers a few specifics about the alleged theft of funds, but they do illuminate that the growing fractures in the movement that took place and that they took in more than $90 million. That's what they tried to say. $90 million. She's old pizza. In the year 2020 alone, 90 million. In a lengthy statement by BLM GFN board, they furiously denounced the allegations as harmful, divisive, and false, and they accused BLMGR leaders of lining their own pockets with more than $10,000 in monthly stipends rather than supporting the local groups and families. I hate to say this, but I'm going to when we're done. I'll give you my opinion. It'll be definitely that. So now it goes on to say that BLMGFN is the national fundraising arm of the movement, distributing money to local groups through BLMGR, which operates as the umbrella for the group and their many, many chapters. Each side in the dispute is accused and has accused the others of damaging the BLM movement and acting as a tool. Get this, for that white supremacy, the infighting. Now, BLM GFN has been under financial scrutiny for some time, and the disclosures in May revealed that the group had splashed, or I should say splurged. They have splashed, but they splurged out more than $6 million for a Los Angeles mansion and $6.3 million on another 10,000 square foot property in Toronto. Concerns over fiscal issues also led to the resignation of the co founder, Patrice Cullors, who denied any wrongdoing. Cullors did admit that the group was ill prepared to handle the tsunami of donations that poured in as it shot to international prominence following the May 2020 murder of George Floyd. Bowers, the board member named in the lawsuit, was brought on by Colors in 2020 to get this, help raise money and oversee its distribution. And as one of the three board members, has had a key oversight role since her resignation last year. The lawsuit calls Bowers a rogue administrator, a middleman turned usurper, whose own consulting firm was paid $2 million by BLM GFN in 2020. Now, while the BLM leaders and the movement workers were on the street risking their lives, Mr. Bowers remained in his cushy offices, devising a scheme of fraud and misrepresentation to break. Do you see the verbiage? To break the implied, in fact, contract between the donors and BLM, the lawsuit states. So this is him. But they were hailing him as a hero just a few months ago when we covered the other story. This is the gentleman that they're referring to. And they hailed him as a hero a while ago. I mean, that's what they did. At a press conference on Thursday, the BLMGR leader Melina Abdullah slammed BLM GFN, saying the group had lost touch with the foundation's movement. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has been taken away from the people who built it, she said. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation is now led by a highly paid consultant who paid himself upward of $2 million in a single year. BLMGFN fired back, saying that Abdullah and BLMGR were failing, or falling, I should say. Girl, you need to take these glasses off and use your contacts. Were falling victim to the carceral logic, the social violence that fuels the legal system. Boy, black folk get a hold of a dictionary and they just go in. The statement added that they would rather take the same steps of our white oppressors. Oh, I can't read the dribble. That utilize the criminal legal system, which is propped up by white supremacy. The same system they say they want to dismantle to solve movement disputes. Listen, I can't read any more of the dribble. If you choose to read some more of it, you go right ahead. There's the face of one of the folks. There's a whole lot more stuff, but I can't. I mean, I just can't. Here's the deal. They're thieves. They're thieves. They were paid thieves, and they came here with a specific gig. And the specific gig that they came here with was one that was to cause disruption in the Black community. It was to cause disruption in America as a whole. And it was to destroy the Black family, as they originally stated on their website in the beginning. They did not want the nuclear family. And now they're doing this public infighting so that they could possibly split, settle, and dissolve a few things. That's my personal opinion about the story that I just read, because this is what always happens. Whenever you start getting a lot of people who want to be together and they all want to collect money to help, you always find them sort of silent when they're all putting money in their pockets. But then when somebody looks like they're getting a little more than the other guy, then they start to rat and run, turn tail. They get a little yellow bellied. So that's exactly what's going on. That's what's happening now. They're fighting. And they're going to continue to fight. Now, if there are any more arms that they have, like they got the Green Acres one or whatever, that was grassroots one. They have all these other different arms. Any of the other arms that come out, they're all going to start, screaming foul. They're all going to start screaming foul. And the purpose for them screaming foul is because of the fact that they all have to let you know that they're better than the last guy. But this type of stuff happens all the time. If they really wanted to impress anybody, I would imagine that it would probably be good for them to just come right out and say, hey, we were actually siphoning funds for the Democratic Party, and they're the ones who took the money. And they just broke us off a little bit. Just in May, when we were doing the last story, if you remember, we saw that one of the people who were placed there by the Clinton or Foundation, those individuals, that there was one or two of them, they both left. They both got out of Dodge because they tried to distance themselves from what was going on. And rightfully so. You don't want to have your untarnished organization mentioned with a tarnished organization like them, right? Right. So we're going to see a lot more stories like this. They were just hailing this cat as a hero not long ago. They were just hailing this very same guy as a hero. Let me see. We can take a look at it again because I want to see his photo. Let's take a look at his photo so that you guys remember who I'm talking about. Because the deal was they wanted us to think that this guy was there doing all kinds of great stuff. But then if you remember, he took the blame. He took the blame for something that she had done, and then she took the blame for something they said he did. And they just went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Here is the truth. They are the opposite of what they claim they are. They have always been, in this humble woman's opinion, they've always been a tool to divide and to destroy the Black family, whatever was left of it at the time that they started. At the time that they started, they never wanted to deal with anything that had a husband and a wife in it. Ever, ever. They even said it on Instagram. I'm not saying anything that they have not said. I'm only going to repeat what they said. Okay? And they wanted to change the actual nuclear family, right? And that's what they've done. They've even gone so far on their YouTube, on their, what is it called? The Facebook deal? I think it was Facebook. No, Instagram. To try to tell Black women, hey, let me get on the camera for this one because you need to hear this one. You guys don't need to have a man in the family. All you need to do is have one of your good friends and you get together in a house and y'all just sort of combine yourselves and make yourself your own family. You can have two women leading the household with your children and they can come out just as good. That's what they said. Have you ever considered, they said, have you ever considered just you and a friend and your kids together? I'm sorry. That to me lines right up with what they originally said on their website until a lot of us got smart and started rummaging around and digging through and started pulling stuff back and said, hey, you want to get rid of the man. Most of us can't get one. And here you are getting rid of them. Now, once that happened, they went ahead and scrubbed it, cleaned it up, tucked it. They used to have all of their donors available for you to see as well. They did. They did. They had the link that showed you who was their donors, and boy, oh boy, those screenshots are those are wonderful history makers. Because I kept them. But the deal is, you cannot tell me that I don't see it, and I see it, and I know it, and there's that. We're going to be coming back with a couple more stories. Now, I know that Marty always tells me not to do it like this, or at least she did at least once, not to do the little small short stories because not everybody will come back. But here's the deal. A lot of people say they don't want to do the 1 hour stories. So I'm sort of pulled one side to the other because I don't know which way to go. I don't know whether I should just do the 15-minute story like this one's about to be and then cut off and come back on. I don't know. What do you think? Because I got something I want to say about CNN. Well, since we're going to be dealing with this type of topic, why not just edit the title, Felicia? And let's just go ahead on and get it. That's what we can do. We'll edit the title. And then we can look at this next story. Because since Babylon's fallen, crumbling, let's just go ahead and edit it. Now, let me just say this. The whole CNN piece, I think it's just some convenient information. This is just convenient information. To me, it's just convenient. Because, of course, they have to publicly tear it all down. Tear it all down so that they can do it all over. Right? So they got rid of little Brian Stelter. They got rid of him. Right? Right? They got rid of little Brian Stelter. And now they're going to be getting rid of a whole lot of other people. So let me tell you what I think it is. What I think it is they're going to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of people. And when I'm done, I'm going to dig into this new guy's background. I want to see where he came from. I want to see who taught him. I want to see who his mentor was. I want to see all that I can find about him. Because what this tells me is they're going to strip it all down, make you think, or the people who watch them think that they're going to be now the real solid, the news people. They're going to be really solid. They're going to be the trusted source that they used to be. And then the people are going to be listening to more misinformation. And they're not going to know it because, well, they revamped it just for you. Now you can really trust us. Like the Cheshire Cat with a little feather sticking out its mouth. You can trust me. Come on, jump on in. The water is fine. Then they all get on board and start listening to even more rubbish than they have in the most recent years. So let's just go ahead and see what they say, shall we? Now, the CNN staffers said that they fear a network wide purge of top talent after Brian Stelter and White House correspondent, get this name, John Hardwood, were unceremoniously fired after Hardwood announced his surprise departure on Friday, just hours after reporting from the White House. The current and former CNN employees told the Washington Post that there appears to be a culling of the woke. I love their verbiage, a culling of the woke at the media outlet. Both Hardwood and Stelter, the host of Reliable Sources. My Lord, my daddy was a preacher. That's how he used to crack up laughing at somebody when he knew they was lying. He'd say, "My Lord." Okay, he was the host of Reliable Sources, who was fired last month. He saw their contracts terminated prematurely, which means they're just going to buy out your contract early, tell everybody that they kicked you out to gain some support and some sympathy, when that's not really what they did. They just gave you your money and sent you packing. That's it. You're going to have an early retirement, buddy. Beat it. Now, I don't know if this guy's name is Lisht or Liked, but it could be Russian or German. No, it could be German. Licht. Lisht. Anyway, it's seen as evidence that the new boss, Chris Lisht or Liked, or that man with the L, is looking to cast out those who have been critical of Donald Trump. This is all a bunch of rubbish. And allies in order to present a more neutral CNN and win back its most trusted name in the news title. One CNN journalist told the Post that people are freaked out. It almost feels like it feels like there's a pattern and stuff. It doing me feeling like it's a pattern. Is there a purge going on, or is it just me? They continue with, they seem to be sending a message, y'all. Oh Lord, they sending out a message. Ooh. Oh, watch what you say and watch what you do. Oh Lord. That's what they said. And this is the cat. This is the cat. This is the cat. I bet when I'm done doing my digging, if some of y'all don't already know, when I'm done doing my digging, we're going to find out who this here dude is. We're going to find out what he is, what he talking about, what he means for real, for real. Okay? That means this is like trying to renew a corpse. Hold on. Come on, clear. That's not going to work. Clear. Come on, somebody, give me some support here. I'm trying to bring them back. I think it's already done. Move out of the way. I'm going to take somebody. Help me. Help me. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm just having a hard time trying to, choke down all the mean stuff. I don't have time for it anymore. So I just have to take the stuff that they're trying to tell us, and I have to make it light and bantery-ish. Is bantery-ish a word? Well, it is now. Let me go on back on over here. But look at this cat's face. Look at this cat's face. Look at him. Now you can trust me. Now that I've got you in my web, I am going. Leslie said it flatlined years ago. Clear. Where got cold blue? But doesn't he look like a face that says, yeah, you can trust me with your daughter, sir? You can. Doesn't he look like that? Yeah, he does. So in a memo to his staff in May, Chris, that's what I'm going to call him, because his mama called him Chris. I'm going to call him Chris because that last name I ain't messing with, who was appointed to the network by, Warner Brothers. Discovery CEO David Zaslav said that CNN needed to regain the trust of the people. He said the outlet needed to focus on fearlessly speaking the truth to power, challenging the status quo. We got you now, fam. Questioning the groupthink and educating viewers and readers with straightforward facts and insightful commentary, while always being respectful of differing viewpoints. So, in other words, everything that we know we ain't, we're going to try to say we are, and we still going to be who we was, but we just want you to believe the hype. Yes. The CNN journalists, however, say that the new boss has done little to elaborate on what his vision entails. Well, his vision don't entail your tails. He trying to get rid of your tails. All of you, off with your heads and your tails. Now, and what reporters should do to avoid coming off as partisan when reporting about major issues. Hmm. Quote, I think they're hoping that people will just guess what to do, one journalist told the Post. Another employee also criticized the network's lack of explanations over the recent firing, saying longtime CNN personalities are disappearing and the viewers don't know why. Viewers were speculating online that anchors could be next, with Don Lemon, a lightning rod for the right, being mentioned. Other popular anchors on the possible chopping block include Jim Acosta and Jake Tapper, a veteran producer who, like the others, spoke on the condition of anonymity over the concerns about their jobs, said the recent departures and unclear messaging spells trouble for the network ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. They continue with another quote. Here it is. It's a really confusing and unsettling time for top to bottom at CNN. And the producer told the Post, this is what they said: I don't know anyone who is happy right now. You know why? Because that trick will never work. I'm sorry, but I gotta laugh so that I don't start crying because the stuff is just so laughable. In a statement about Hardwood's firing, CNN said, quote, we appreciate John's work covering the White House and we wish him all the best. He can beat it, Dusty Feet, kick rocks, scram, get out of here. You still here? Pack your bags, buddy, you're out. Security, security. Anyway, here's John Lemone. John Lemone. Is it John? Is it Bob? It's Jack? Don. Don Lemone. That's him. Look at that cat. He may be next on the chopping block. And he may be next on the chopping block. Is it him and his wife? Aren't they like, I don't know, CNN employees or something? Anyway, Hardwood 65 has a long, now look, I ain't playing with them in their terms. I'm not playing with them in their terms. Do you see? This is nothing but these folks is getting ready to retire. And I'm going to tell you how I know, because whenever I start to see them use a play on words, child, I already know what they doing. Here we go. Hardwood 64 has a long and storied career that includes stints at the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and CNBC. Do you just... Here we go. Here you go. Right, Leslie? Tell him, see you later. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. He tweeted at noon on Friday that he had personal news, to share, and said, today's my last day at CNN. The reporter, who has been with CNN since 2021, said that he's proud of the work and he thanks his colleagues. Hardwood was a vocal critic of Trump, and earlier this year, he said Trump was mentally unwell. Now, that's the part right there that I'm sorry. I don't care whose side you're on, right or left. Anybody that says some stuff like that and does not point out the obvious about the seated cat, and you just look at Mr. Naranga, who has nothing to do with anything right now, other than the things that he may have put in place when he left. That right there ought to tell people to turn that stuff off. You listening to them talk about a guy who's not even around anymore, okay? And the only reason why they bring him up is because they have no relevance. You understand? They have no relevance. What they were originally doing for the whole entire time that he was in office was constantly bringing up untruths. Now, I don't know what he took to his house. Really, I don't. I really don't care. I really don't even know if that has any true validity to it. Okay? I really don't. But what I will say is this: they have done nothing but attempt to drag his name through the mud and allow your ears, my ears, our hearts, our emotions, and everything to be trundled along with it. Because that's the goal, is to get you to take your eyes off of what's going on. Pay no attention. Not one bit of attention. Not one bit. Don't you look at that cat behind that there curtain. And I done told you about your little dog, Dorothy. You better get your little dog now. If that dog goes and mess with anything else, it was going to be you and that dog hitting the road. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. No, we don't want you to do that. So that's the reason why we're going to continue to bring up Mr. Naranga every single chance we get. We got to talk about him, whether he's doing something or not. Now, they clear out the playing field. And I tell you right now, if that cat comes back, I'll know something. I said it 2 weeks ago. If that cat comes back, I'm going to know something. 3.5 was the first term. That really was 3.5 years. It really was. If this cat comes back after the public, how do I want to put this so that nobody else gets the wrong idea? Removing his Rocky Mountain oysters. The public removal of the Rocky Mountain oysters. I'll know who he is, for real, for real. I will know biblically who this cat is. After all of this public lambasting, after all of the public information that's been going on, after all of the stuff that they've been doing to him, okay, publicly, really, just like a noose, publicly. He's out of here. He's back. He's up. He's down. I will never forget the fact that there's a whole entire field with his name on it, a coin with his name on it, and that they called him Cyrus. I'm never going to forget about any of that. If this joker come back, I'm going to know something. So maybe he won't, but let's keep going. Now, we're going to finish this. During his last day at the job, he told everybody Hardwood called Trump a dishonest demagogue and agreed with Joe Biden's divisive speech, calling the former president with his MAGA supporters a threat to American democracy. Now, I'm so tired of hearing everybody say American democracy because we already know that this is not a democracy. It was originally a what? A republic. All right. But they keep calling it a democracy. And if they get you to believe it long enough, then they can do whatever they want under the guises of a democracy. Hardwood admitted his statements veered off the path of journalism, but maintained his criticism against Trump's unfounded claims that the 2020 election was stolen. It was. We are brought up to believe that there are two different political parties with different points of view, and we don't take sides in honest disagreements between them, he said. But that's not what we're talking about. These are not honest disagreements, he says. Former CNN contributor Wajada Ali, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. If it's a man or a woman, I don't know. Wajahat Ali told the Post that Hardwood's backtracking was most likely intentional to save face after being fired. Here it is, personal news. Today's my last day. Proud of the work, thanks to my colleagues. I've been lucky to serve the best American media, St. Petersburg Times, WSJ, NYT, the NBC family, and CNN. You guys are all the same family. Don't worry. It doesn't matter what you say, dude. You know why it doesn't matter? Here's the reason why it doesn't matter. The reason why it doesn't matter is because you guys are all a part of the same family, and you're going to see him at the next company that you start to work for at their Christmas party. You're going to see you're going to see this cat because this is you, but you're going to see this cat at the Christmas party. You're going to see everybody at the party, and you're really going to see this one here because you know why? He really loves to party. Have you seen him party? Whoo, boy. Oh, I've seen him party. Yeah, they've had to actually take him off the mic sometimes because he just be partying hard. So you're going to see all of those people when you move on because they're all a part of the same family. Every one of them. And they are paid handsomely. None your beeswax. They are paid handsomely. Yes, they are. I'm going to read the super chats. Thank you so very much for that beautiful super chat. What is this? Oh, Yahoo Conan. Yahoo Conan Bell. Yahoo Conan Bell. Thank you. I sure appreciate you. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Yes, yes, yes. Lemonhead is looking long in the tooth because he's an old fellow, Kelly. You do know he's an old fellow, don't you? He's quite an old guy. Now, I want to take a look at something else because We read that. We had a little comedy. I consider that comedy. But I want to talk about the church right quick, and then I want to take a look at the huge stuff that's going on out in California. Yeah, let's get into that story first. I think it'd be apropos for us to do that. Okay, so let's go here, and we're gonna do another story. Hello, we're gonna do another story. I do want to talk about how sad it is with all of the wildfires there in California. I think it is very, very sad. Um, but you know what, you guys, for the past several years, what have we been seeing? For the past several years, Bethany, shalom to you as well, sister. We have been seeing fire after fire after fire. I mean, it sounds like the Ohio players. Fire. That's what it sounds like. Yes, Lord. It's exactly what it sounds like every single year. And I believe that a lot of it is, some of them, they say somebody just dropped a cigarette. How careless of people, right? And then I think there's a lot of directed energy weapons as well. So let's just go on ahead and get into this story. Okay. Look at that. That is terrible. Huh. Taking out some areas there. Huge wildfire rips across 5,000 acres in California. Terrified residents are evacuated from their homes. That is awful. After the blaze was sparked by sweltering 107 degrees Fahrenheit heat. 6 were rushed to the hospital, and they, with pride and glee, tell us this. They all ought to be thrown in jail for what we know. Just for what we know. Just for what we know. I'm going to talk about this because I haven't. And yeah. California wildfires erupted in rural areas on Wednesday, racing through bone-dry brush and prompting evacuations as the state sweltered under a heat wave that could last through Labor Day. The intense blaze in the Castaic northwestern of Los Angeles County raged through 4,625 acres of hills containing scattered houses. Interstate 5, a major north-south route, was closed by a blaze that burned several hundred acres in only a few hours. A wall of flames was seen advancing uphill, and smoke billowed thousands of feet into the air while planes dumped water from nearby Castaic Lake. Boy, we already know that there's not a lot of water going on in that area right now for obvious reasons. Now, there were no immediate reports of damage to buildings, but a mobile home park with 94 residents was evacuated, as well as an elementary school. The temperatures in the area did hit 107 degrees, and winds gusted to 17 miles an hour, forecasters say. Now, 8 firefighters were treated for heat-related problems, including 6 who were sent to hospitals, but all were in good condition. The Los Angeles County Fire Department Chief Thomas Ewald said, there you go. Wow. More injuries were expected as crews cope with the extreme heat that was expected to stretch into next week. Ewald said during a news conference Wednesday night, quote, wearing heavy firefighter gear, carrying packs and dragging hoses, swinging tools, the folks out there are just taking a beating, he said. Aircraft would continue to drop water and fire retardant on the blaze overnight, and winds could shift to the north through the night, causing the fire to burn back on itself, Ewald said. Ewald also said that there could be other fires in Los Angeles County as the searing heat continues. Bulldozers to cut off the fire breaks will be staffed around the county Thursday as a precaution. Now, there's another quote. This is the fire that's burning right now. But we have 4,000 square miles of Los Angeles County that we have to consider for tomorrow, he said. Another fire burned at least 4 buildings, including a home, and prompted evacuations in Dulzora area, eastern of San Diego County, near the Mexican border. It swiftly grew to more than 1,600 acres, and prompted evacuation orders for at least 400 homes, the authorities said. State Route 94 was closed. The Mountain Empire Unified School District will be closed this past week here. And the U.S. Customs and Border Protection announced that the Tecate port of entry with Mexico closed 3 hours earlier on Wednesday night because the fire would not, because of the fire, and they wouldn't reopen until the conditions improved to ensure the safety of the traveling public. Travelers could continue to use the 24-hour Otay Mesa crossing. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that in every one of these types of crises, there is always going to be a lining that they put silver in. And I believe that those people, there are going to still be people going in a different direction. A lot of folks going to still be moving. I do believe that. I believe there's going to be little pockets where people are going to be moving in, and they probably moving in some pretty heavy duty dudes. That's just me. That's just me. Let's continue. No injuries were immediately reported, but there were multiple close calls as residents rushed to flee, said Captain Thomas Schutz with the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. He says, quote, "We had multiple 911 calls from folks unable to evacuate because their homes were surrounded by fire," Schutz told the San Diego Union Tribune. The National Weather Service said many valleys, foothills, mountains, and desert areas of the state remain under an elevated fire risk because of the low humidity and the high temperature, which set several records for the day. The hottest days were expected to be Sunday and Monday. Wildfires have sprung up this summer throughout the western states. The largest and deadliest blaze in California this year erupted in late July in the Siskiyou County near Oregon, late on the state line. It killed 4 people and destroyed much of the small community and Calumet River, which is really what they want. Anywhere you can still find pockets of people who got good sense, you're going to find a lot of this happening. Scientists have said climate change has made the West warmer and drier over the last 3 decades and will continue to make weather more extreme and wildfires more frequent. You see how they deposit those seeds of insincerity. Frequent and destructive, it says. Across the American West, a 22-year mega drought deepened so much in 2021 that the region is now in the driest spell in the last 1,200 years. Well, we already know the truth, right? Anytime you have the ability to shake, rattle, and roll to make it rain, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, and you are not an Indian's chief, and you can still make it rain. And I don't mean like you at Magic City in Atlanta. You still can make it rain. Yeah, you can. You can make it rain, and you ain't got no pole in the living room, no pole nowhere, and ain't that kind of making it rain? Yeah, you still know that you are the ones that are doing it. And I know it, and you know it, and everybody else and their mama know it. Yeah. Yeah. This is all done by design. We all know that. As long as we keep our wits about us and continue to stay in intercession for our communities, we'll be okay. Alan Davis and my son there, XX Frank Nitty XX. Hey, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. Yep. Plays in the dirts. Plays in the dirt. How are you, precious? Yes, he does see all, doesn't he? Now let's see. I did want to talk about this pastor, about not pastor, but about the churches. And here's the reason why. Because I think that a lot of the pastors and a lot of the churches are really, really, really running, they're burning out. A lot of them are burning out. And you know why? Let me tell you why. When I was going to Bible college, one thing they used to tell us, actually, it was while I was working, when I was doing altar work. What they used to tell us was, you will not be burned out if you are doing it in that day. They said God, but Yah's way. So if you're doing what you're supposed to do, Yah's way, and you're working for him, it's really a burden that is so light. It's really a burden that is not as heavy as most would think it is, because you are doing it and he's leading and guiding you. So this is a little bit of an opinion piece, and we're not going to read it all, but we are going to look at what they say. And what they're saying to me seems very, very secular in nature, because it's coming from, to me, a secular mindset. All right. It's coming from the New York Times, and I'm not giving you one dime, not one quarter, not one buck, not a penny, nothing, not one thing. I already have an account with you guys anyway. I'm not doing it. I'm backing out. But I will tell you guys my opinion on it. And I don't need them to tell me anything because I did read the story. And I guess they said, hey, you can read it for free. But then what are we going to do? We're going to zap it, sister. We're going to zap you. And you're not going to be able to read it. Here's what I'm going to tell you about pastors burning out. The purpose of them burning out right now is the fact that they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because if they were doing the will of the Father, a lot of the things that we see on the tabs that we have right now, they would not be able to happen. Even though we do know the end times, and even though we do know that this world belongs to X, Y, or Z, even though we know all that stuff, if they would humble themselves and get together and do what they're supposed to do based on who they say they serve, okay, they wouldn't be burned out. They wouldn't be burned out. On top of not being burned out, you wouldn't see all of the illegal type of things going on within the church. You wouldn't see any of those things. Why? Because they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Paraphrasing, they will mount up on wings like eagles. They'll run and they won't get weary. And they'll run and not get weary. They walk and won't faint, right? That they would be renewed. So waiting means doing the will of the Father. You do his will. And if you do his will, there's not going to be nothing wrong with you because he's going to renew your strength. And that's the reason why you see a lot of the churches right now today begging the government for money, compromising, doing things the government's way so that way they don't lose a stipend or they don't lose their funding. Okay. Joining parts of, crazy organizations so that they can keep going a little bit more, put the roof on for the 5th time in the last 10 years. Okay. All of that stuff, killing all kinds of chickens to have, to go out and raise money to fix the parking lot or the pastor's aid. All of those things that they're doing is for nothing. Every inch of it, every penny you give into those organizations will most assuredly be exactly like putting money into a bag with holes in it. I have to just be honest with you. So the reason why they're burned out and the reason why you can see this on a New York Times or any other secular paper is because they are a secular entity, especially when they take that 501c3 and strut on down the street looking like George Jefferson with a little briefcase in one hand and their Bible hardly marked up in the left. That's what's up. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for the lovely gift and the lovely love offerings. And to those who have sent money to the new post office box, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have no idea how you keep me going. The move is going and it's very unique. And once it's all done, I will let you guys know the outcome. My grandkids won their game today, 35-0. They did very well, and we're very happy. Roll Tide. We're getting ready for some of them to do some stuff. All right, you guys, you all remember what we always say on any Policia Lockhart Group publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys take care of yourselves, and then I want you to make sure that you take care of everybody else around you. And until you and I see each other again, please continue to be blessed. Bye-bye. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. Helping